Our next speaker is Gregory Davis. Stories to Success, the creative power of anecdotes in performance.
It was 6:30 in the morning in the winter, and it was cold, and it was dark, but it wasn't too dark that I couldn't see the paper in the middle of my neighbor's yard. All of a sudden, they came out of the door. Cold, they were in their robe, iron, clutching their arms, with fluffy house shoes on, visibly annoyed. And as they walked to the paper, they said to me, they threw the paper in the middle of my yard again. They bent down to pick up the paper and walked back in the house. Clearly, this was a case of expectations that were different from the paper deliverer and the neighbor. And this sparked some thinking. This sparked my imagination to think about evaluations, expectations, and performance. And I know, you say, no, where is that coming from? Well, I come by it honestly because I had just completed 12 annual performance reviews a couple of weeks before. So what I want to do is show you how I create anecdotes, tell you how you can create anecdotes, and say why creating the creative use of anecdotes can create performance and help with expectations. After 35 years as a community organizer in the central area in the 90s, in Rainier Valley in the 2000s, nationally 2010s, and in the 2020s in Rainier Beach, I have interacted with youth, adults, young adults, our elders. I've worked with people from entry level to the C-suites and many, many cultures. And one of the things that's common is all of them responded to stories and anecdotes. The key is visualization. I've studied Proverbs and used those. I've studied parables. I've studied the Psalms to use those to help create visualizations and to support expectations. And what I found was 3 ingredients. One is the use of the 5 senses. 2 is life's daily activities. And 3 is the use of cognitive framework. And I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. So whether it's teams or classes or work groups, whether it's in your classroom or at work, it's usually not the person's effort or ability. It's usually a difference in expectations, a misalignment or a mismatch in expectations. So I would say the creative use of anecdotes will help with the expectations. Now I know we all get frustrated when our work with children or our siblings or coworkers or students is unsuccessful in helping them improve. But to help them do that is the creation of visualization as it relates to their work. And you remember the story of the neighbor and the paper deliverer. The success is the anecdotes and the use of visualization to help with the improvement. An example of this is I shared this story about the neighbor and the paper deliverer with my staff, but I added a visualization to it. And I said that the paper deliverer's expectation was here, and the neighbor's expectation was here. Sometimes I fortuitously use that when I talk to staff. And I said, is your grasp of our mission here, or is it here? And I've learned to now use that in our annual performance reviews. So the 3 ingredients, life's basic activity. Mine was walking. You can use cooking, you can use gardening, you can use any number of other basic life activities. The use of the 5 senses, taste, smell, hearing, sound, I used that. I was walking, One of the things I didn't mention is I smelled the bacon from the neighbor's yard as they were coming out. I saw the newspaper and I felt the cold. So the use of the senses really helped with the creation of creative anecdotes. When it comes to cognitive skills, the framework, this is actually for the learner or for the teacher, or the student, or the coworker. And what it does, it allows them to take their thinking from a knowledge level to an understanding level. And it doesn't stop there. It allows them to take their understanding to a level of analysis and a level of synthesis. That's actually my genius. So the stories of our lives, whether they are family settings, friends settings, classroom settings, or work settings, are the ones that are remembered most to support the lessons learned. I can't wait to tell you about how I spun an anecdote out of an owl attack that allowed me to see the world in a whole new way. Thank you.